Hey everybody, welcome to Trend or Trap for Friday, August 14th. I'm Dan Karpuk here for TrendsCenter once again, and I have a treat for you guys. I found two really sneaky edges for today's MLB slate, so let's get right into it. Starting with the Marlins at the Reds. The Marlins are 62-60. The Reds check into this one at 58-62. Sandy Alcantara is starting for Miami. He's 13-6 with a 3.52 ERA. Chase Burns is starting for the Reds. He's 13-2. with a 2.61 ERA. Per TrendsCenter, the Reds have gone 15-3 on the money line. That's 83.33% for 12.32 units, with Chase Burns starting as a minus 160 or less favorite this season, including an 8-game winning streak. So is this a trend to tail with the Reds minus 120 or a trap to fade with the Marlins plus 100? So we have a very solid pitcher's duel on our hands in this one. But I'm going to say that this is a trap for one simple reason. Sandy Alcantara has quietly been elite lately, and Chase Burns has shown some signs of regression. Alcantara has been awesome in his last 3 starts, guiding the Marlins to 3 straight shutout wins against the Phillies, Mets, and Angels with 7, 6, and 7 innings of brilliance. Over those 20 innings, he allowed only 11 hits, struck out 18, and walked 4. In his only start against the Reds back on April 7th, he pitched into the 9th inning in what ended up being a 6-3 loss in extras, finishing with a line of 8 1/3 innings with 3 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. He's been simply dominant in 6 of his last 7 starts heading into this one, and ranks in the 95th percentile of Baseball Savant's all-encompassing pitching run value metric. He also limits hard contact at the 68th percentile, hard hit rate, 79th percentile barrel rate, rarely issues free passes at the 85th percentile in walk rate, and even though his strikeout numbers leave a bit to be desired, he's been efficient and, most importantly, given his team a chance to win, consistently in his starts. He hasn't needed much assistance, but Miami's bullpen is average, I'd say, behind him. Despite playing in Great American Ballpark, dubbed Great American Small Park as an extreme hitter's park, the Reds somehow own the worst home average at 220 in the majors, the 8th worst on-base percentage at home, 314, the 9th worst slugging percentage, and the 8th worst OPS at home as well. They also own the worst average, worst on-base percentage, 6th worst slugging percentage, and 5th worst OPS against right-handed pitching. This is sneakily a great spot for Alcantara here, even at Great American Small Park / Ballpark. Chase Burns has been great this year too overall, sporting an 88th percentile pitching run value to go along with an 85th percentile XBA, 82nd percentile xERA, and great whiff, chase, and strikeout rates. However, his early season dominance has faded a little bit since the calendar turned to July. He's recorded 4 or less strikeouts in 3 of his last 6 starts and posted 31 strikeouts over his last 32 in a third innings after whiffing 112 in his first 91 2/3. Could there be a little arm fatigue going on here late in the season? Who knows? Remember, he has never thrown over 109 1/3 innings in a season so far, dating all the way back to college. He didn't even do it in college, and he's already at 124. So Cincinnati's bullpen is bad and entered this game with the 6th worst ERA behind him as well. And this matchup against the Marlins isn't really a cakewalk for Burns. The Marlins actually have the 6th best average, 6th best on-base percentage, 11th best slugging percentage, and 11th best OPS against right-handed pitching. And on the road, they rank 5th in average, 10th in on-base percentage, 10th in slugging percentage, and 11th in OPS, thus putting their offense in a good spot against Burns and Cincinnati's staff. So I think this is a really sneaky spot to target the underdog in this one, but the way Alcantara has been pitching and the way that Burns has been fading a tiny bit here in his last handful of starts, I'm comfortable with backing Miami on the road. Now moving on to the Padres at the Guardians. The Padres are 65-57. The Guardians are 59-63. Michael King is going to pitch for the Padres. He's 7-8 with a 3.37 ERA versus Gavin Williams, 11-6 with a 3.55 ERA. Per TrendsCenter, over the last 22 years, in the first game of a series where the home favorite of minus 200 or less is on 0 days of rest, playing an interleague opponent on 1 day of rest who played their previous 6 games at home, the over 4 has gone 27-4, 87.1% for 22.6 units of profit. That was a mouthful, but is this a trend to tail with over 7.5 runs or a trap to fade with under 7.5 runs? I think that this is a trap, and I think under 7.5 runs is the best bet in this spot. Per TrendsCenter, the Padres have gone 8-1 to the under as underdogs with Michael King starting the season. So that's a trend in a complete counter trend, I can say, to that 27-4 trend that I rattled off beforehand. King ranks in the 87th percentile pitching run value and has done a great job limiting hard hits with an 87th percentile hard hit rate allowed as well. The Guardians have a bad offense and rank third worst in runs scored per game at 3.99, including 8th worst at home at 4.1. King also benefits from having one of the best bullpens in the majors to support him. Coming off a shutout loss to the Tigers, Cleveland has averaged just 3.2 runs per game over their last 5 contests heading into this one. After rattling off 5 straight double-digit strikeout performances, Gavin Williams on the other side only had 7 in his last start, but he's looked solid lately, allowing 2 or fewer earned runs in 7 of his last 9 starts, while establishing himself as a true punch-out artist in the process, boasting a 96th percentile strikeout rate at 32.3%, 98th percentile whiff rate, or I should say 88th percentile, 83rd percentile chase rate, and 78th percentile pitching run value, among other strong metrics. I'm willing to largely ignore his 3rd percentile hard hit rate and 6th percentile barrel rate. A middling bullpen will back him up. The Padres own the 3rd worst OPS in night games, and while the Guardians rank 8th worst in OPS at home and 4th worst against right-handed pitching, I'm gonna go with the under in this one, aligned with those metrics that I just rattled off there. The Rockies at the Giants. The Rockies are 48-73. The Giants are 50-71. This is a battle of some bottom dwellers in the NL West. Probables: Kyle Freeland, 3-10 with a 6.63 ERA is going to start for the Rockies, while Landon Roop, 7-11 with a 4.22 ERA will start for the Giants. Per TrendsCenter, this season, with an over-under of 10 or less, opposing teams have gone 20-5 on the money line, that's 80%, against the Rockies after Colorado won their last game. So is this a trend to tail with the Rockies minus 125 or a trap to fade with the Rockies plus 105? So I already mentioned this, but what an abysmal matchup here. I'm going to say that this is a trend to tail, though, and I'm going to back the Giants to win. Coming off his first career complete game against the Royals, Kyle Freeland only allowed 1 earned run in 4 1/3 innings in his last start against the Cardinals, but I'm not going to start trusting him now all of a sudden. The Rockies have gone 8-13 on the money line in his starts this season, and he ranks amongst the worst pitchers in the majors with a minus 20 pitching run value. That's the 1st percentile, meaning one of the worst in the league, to go along with a horrendous advanced profile across the board. He allowed 4 earned runs against the Giants a couple months ago in his only meeting against them, and there's really no reason to start trusting him against any lineup at this point. A horrible Colorado bullpen, which ranks 3rd worst in ERA, will come in behind him as well. This Rockies lineup is much less dangerous on the road, as you might imagine, being away from the thin air at Coors Field, and that's really what makes Landon Roop stand out in this situation. Landon Roop, his inability to find the strike zone has really killed him over his last few starts here. In fact, he's allowed 12 walks over his last 3 starts. That's 13 in 2/3 innings. You're not going to find much success if you can't find the zone more than that. He ranks in the 20th percentile of walk rate on the season at 10.9%. That's very bad. However, he's been elite at limiting hard contact in the 96th percentile in hard hit rate, 94th percentile in average exit velo, 91st percentile in barrel rate, and he has induced lots of ground balls in the 88th percentile as well. This is an ideal matchup for him, however. Remember how I just said he couldn't find the zone? Not only do the Rockies own the 4th worst hard hit rate, 5th worst barrel rate, and 2nd worst average exit velo in the majors, but they're also the most impatient hitting team in the majors by a gigantic margin, with the highest swing rate and highest chase rate. Overall, the Giants have gone 28-31 at home, while the Rockies have gone an NL worst 21-41 on the road. I'm going to trust that the Giants get the job done at home in this one and say that this is the second sneaky, massive edge that I found on this slate, joining the Marlins in the first game that I mentioned. So the Marlins and the Giants, two sneaky spots that I really love on this slate today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, feel free to reach out at Daniel Karpa. Give me all of your thoughts. If you think I'm an idiot, let me know. If you think that I'm brilliant, also let me know. Please let me know more if you think I'm brilliant. But as always, follow TrendsCenter as well at TrendsCenter app for all betting trends for MLB, for NCAA football coming up, and the NFL. And if you made it this far, you have an opportunity, one last day of the promo. It is POD50, POD50, for 50% off your first month of TrendsCenter Premium Access. This is the last day of this, guys, so take advantage of this. POD50 at checkout in the app, and you'll get 50% off your first month. With NFL coming up, you can get you'll pretty much be set for week 1 of NFL. You'll be set for week 0 in week 1 of college football as well if you take advantage of this. So definitely do that. POD50, last day. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Best of luck with all your bets on Friday's slate, and I'll be right back here next week for some more episodes of Trend or Trap.